getting your memories of this getting started with Thunder Hills and how you got involved and how did that all begin back in the 60s, Lyle?
Well, I'll tell you, I got acquainted with Gordon Cunningham. He was the pro at Buckman. And so I was in the real estate business. This is back in the 50s and 60s, very early 60s. And so anyhow, Gordon he went into building 9-hole golf courses. They were FHA golf courses. They built them out in small counties and cities, areas in Iowa and Illinois. I don't know about Wisconsin, but anyway, he was building 9-hole golf courses. And I was in the real estate business. And so I knew from talking to him years prior that the city of Dubuque had hired a company to go and look over Dubuque County and find and make a recommendation of where to build another public golf course. And I knew that Gordon was involved in that at the time because he was working for the city then. And so I had worked with him in acquiring the land for Lacoma Golf Course. He had bought that 30 acres from a guy by the name of Coyle. He owned those 30 acres up there by the restaurant. And so anyhow, I worked with Gordon in him acquiring those 30 acres and building Lacoma. But so anyway, when I started Piotka Land Development Company, and I had bought land out there, and so I asked Gordon where this was that the city decided to put a golf course. Well, he said, so he got the map and he showed me the property. Well, it turned out that the property that they had recommended was Frank McGovern's farm. And Frank McGovern at the time worked for me in the real estate business. He also owned that store, the hardware store, but he had left that and he was working in real estate with me. And so I said to him, I'd like to buy your farm. And well, he just laughed at me. And but anyway, he didn't want to sell his place. So I bought his brother's 80 acres. He had 80 acres or something. Now this is on the corner of the Country Club Road to the southeast side, east side of the road. There's it's like 40 wide and 240 deep. And I bought that 80 acres from him. We look at the next farm, and that belongs to Jeff Bird. Okay. Jeff Bird owned and he had 200 acres in there for $500 an acre. The 200 acres that I bought from Bird wasn't enough to make a 18-hole golf course. The way it was laid out anyway. So that's the piece that's on the right-hand side of the road going in. And so Bucky Harris owned the next piece next to that. So he had a home there, and I don't remember if the son had a home there or not at the time. But anyway, I went and talked to Bucky, and I made an agreement with him to buy his place. I think I paid $650 for it an acre. And anyway, he wanted to keep 3 more acres. He wanted to have 4 acres out of there for his 3 boys to build houses next to his. So anyway, we divided it out. So then I got a hold of Schultz, the engineers, and I got them to engineer the stuff, get it all lined out. And then I went to Gordon's, and I talked to him about building the golf course. Well, that's how we got started, and he knew I wanted to build a country club. I just felt that I didn't feel comfortable at the Dubuque Golf and Country Club, and I just thought we needed another golf course. So anyway, I got started with Gordon that he's going to build it. Well, of course, all of this takes money, and so he was dealing with East Dubuque Savings Bank. Frank's son was his banker at the time, so he talked to him about we're going to do this, and arranging for money. Well, through the process, and C.J. May was his attorney, and he got him involved, and we did go ahead and get the thing started. And if you're going to have a country club, you need members. So we got it all set up that we were going to sell memberships, but we had to have 300 before we could start.
Lyle, was this in 1969?
Yeah, this was in 69.
Okay.
And so anyway, we set he got his attorney to draw up an agreement, a corporation, or I don't know, just what all it was. But anyway, I just kind of lost control of the thing. I had built a house over on off of Carter Road in Carter Ridge Addition, and I sold it to Bob Frummel, and I also sold a lot in there to Gordon Cunningham. I didn't build his house, but anyway, they became friends. Frummel had come to town. I can't remember where he was working, but his family owned the Dubuque Awning and Tent Company, and so anyway, they had gotten started in the big business by then that Bob was running, and so anyway, Frummel and Gordon got all involved in the thing, and so we started selling membership at $50. Give me $50, and you're a member, and then you'll have to give me $450 when we get started, for a total of $500. And if we don't get started, well, you get your money back. And if we can't sell 300 members, well, we did wind up selling the 300 members. Frank Montgomery and I sold a bunch. All the organization was done with Frummel and so forth. And he knows all about how the workings of the corporate
270.
270?
Yeah.
And we couldn't get it started until we had the 300. And so I called Bob Waller down at the PAC, and I say to him, would he be interested in helping us to get this started for 270? And so we had quite a little discussion, and he says, well, how many memberships does John Deere own? And I said, well, John Deere don't own any, but most of the memberships that we have right now are employees of John Deere. And he said, well, how many from the PAC? And I said, only one. It was Bucky Harris. And he said, I'll tell you what, Mr. Kopp, he said, you just go ahead and start this country club. He said, somebody had to start the Dubuque Golf and Country Club so I could be a member over there. So he said, you just go ahead and start that, and whatever members you need by the time you need the money, I'll pick them up. So I said, so I called Brummel at that time, and I said, start this damn thing. We got all we need. And so anyway, that really how it got started.
When did they start laying out the golf course and the streets and all that, Lyle?
Well, they didn't really start anything on it until we had the membership agreed on. Gordon took care of drawing up the course and getting it all laid out. The engineering company took care of setting it up and getting roads, just on a map, getting the thing drawn up and so forth. I had committed to that after we had the agreement by the PAC that we were going to get the membership. Why? That's when it really started.
That would have been, Lyle, as we got it recorded, I think that would have been September 3rd, 1970, when we had our final go-ahead with the 300 members. The two farms that we built the course on, how many acres, do you remember?
Well, Birds was 200, and Bucky's was less. I can't remember now how many acres he had, but so much of Bucky's ground was unusable.
The way I understand it is we had, of the Birds, we had 200 acres, and Bucky's was about 100 acres.
Well, we paid a whole lot more than that. I mean, we bought a lot more acres than that, but 100 acres would have been as much as we could use.
Okay, so it was about 200 acres that probably about the same side as Bird's farm? Yeah.
And from the road north was Bucky's farm. The road is on Bucky's farm, and maybe part of the building up there is. I can't just tell you the exact line, but by the front road, Bucky's farm. And I could be mistaken, but I'm quite sure the road is on Bucky's farm.
That's the road going into the country club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His property started where the road is anyway. It could be on the other side, but... It started at the road and then went north, right? Yeah.
Yeah, north and east. And then the Bird's farm was south of Thunder Hills Road. Or Country Club
That's
Drive,
right.
yeah. Okay.
Well, you know how 6 runs there.
Yeah.
How the fence goes all along. Well, that was all of Bird's farm.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the width of it.
And Cullen and Schultz was the designer, they did all the engineering and layout and so forth of the roads, the water system, and everything else to begin the development. And that, from what I've seen a map, and I've got a copy of it, of Cullen and Schultz's original drawing of the layout of the subdivision, and the layout of the golf course, of course, was done by Gordon Cunningham, as you stated earlier, and we do have a copy of that first layout that he drew. Did you have anything to do with the naming of Thunder Hills? I knew you did. I know that story. Tell Bob.
Before that meeting, we had set up that I had to approve by all the people that were there that were involved in this thing from the beginning. I said that we should call that Westside Country Club.
Right.
Westmore, not Westside. Westmore Country Club. But it was in the west. It was more west.
Westmore, M-O-O-R?
CJ May is at this meeting, and so we're on him about, having this corporation all set up and blah, blah. And he said, well, I just don't have, it's just not ready yet. He said, we don't even have a name for it. And so I said, well, we do have a name for it. What? What is it? I said, Westmore Country Club. And then he starts cursing. He says, that's all I know around here is west side this, west side that, west side whatever. He said, who wants to make Lyle Kopp any richer? I said, so then Biasi says, well, wait, maybe we should call it May Manor.
So how did the name Thunder Hills come about?
I have no idea.
Okay. I got to talk.